have the distinct pleasure of introducing Professor Detlev Doherr, who will be talking about Humboldt's vision of a smarter world. Professor Doherr is a professor in informatics and geoinformatics at the University of Applied Sciences, Offenburg, Germany, since 1990. He received degrees of diploma and doctor from the University of Göttingen, Germany in 1983. After employment at the German rock, salt, and potash industry, where he developed a geographical information system for mining and exploration together with IBM, he served as a professor at Offenburg beginning in 1990. In 1992, he founded the Steinbeis Transfer Center of Information Technology in Offenburg, which is part of the German Steinbeis Stiftung. Since 2001, he has been working in the fields of digital libraries, internet portals, and virtual environments. He has more than 20 years of experience in developing an internet-based information systems combined with knowledge bases and artificial intelligence. His current interests include knowledge-based computing, information technology, and the history of the natural sciences. Thank you very much, Professor Doherr.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first I want to start my presentation, maybe not in the PowerPoint viewer, because I do not like to be framed from Microsoft. So you know the Microsoft PowerPoint is the top line, and Microsoft Windows is the bottom line, and so maybe I try to change that. Sorry for that delay. Open with? No? Yeah. Looks great. Now you see Microsoft, of course. Oh. Well, it's Microsoft as well, so sorry. Okay, so sorry for this delay. Where is this? Here we are. Okay, looks better. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, I'm just feeling quite uncomfortable about the fact that this keynote maybe will be my first presentation with more questions than results. And I hope instantly that you will forgive me. Maybe you can accept the importance of asking those questions, and I will do my best to explain what has it to do with Alexander von Humboldt, because he explored the nature in the 19th century, and the question is, what is the connection to today's urgent questions about technical developments on the computer world? My presentation describes aspects of Humboldt visions of the natural world and the consequences for a smarter world, which we likely are implementing by supercomputers, a world which could be dominated by big data, supercomputing, and global networking. Well, it is difficult to make predictions, especially about the future. These expressions have been attributed to a diverse collection of individuals, and we do not simplify the tasks if we are trying to predict only the development of the computer technology for the next 2 decades and impacts on society. Our hope and expectations are expressed in the term smarter world. Well, the German scientist Alexander von Humboldt faced similar challenges in the 19th century because he explored the nature and was conceiving a bold new vision of nature that still influences the way how we understand the new world. He exceeded the limits of the known world just as we do today. Humboldt viewed the natural world holistically and described the harmony of nature among the diversity of the physical world. Even after more than 200 years, he is admired for his ability to see the natural world and human nature in the context of a complex network of relationships. In Great Chain of Connected Effects, he remarked that no single fact can be considered in isolation. In terms of information technology, he founded the procedural thinking to describe his view of nature because he found connections everywhere, even between the animated and inanimated nature, a sensation at this time and a challenging idea. So he invented the web of life as we know it today. Humboldt believed in the importance of accurate measurements and precise descriptions of observations, which should be measured by using the finest instruments and techniques available to detect processes and phenomena in a better way. This concept is described as the Humboldtian science as a basis for scientific understanding. But he stated as well that great parts of our response to the natural world is based on senses and emotions. And this exactly is the thing we have to think about. Now, let's focus on the aspects of supercomputing and computer sciences which are evolving enormously. It has dramatically changed our world in the last 6 decades. Compare the today's technology with the very start of personal computers here at Commodore PET. It stands for Personal Electronic Transactor, delivered in 1977. Modern computer technology shapes how objects are designed, what information we receive, how and where we work, and who we meet, do business with. And computing changes our understanding of the world around us and universe beyond. So it influences our daily life, and it is increasing every day. Isolated search engines in the internet would not work well in isolation. So human actions have become part of the system. Computing is being fed by human data streams, traffic data, airline booking, banking transactions, social media, and so on. And everybody knows how well internet traces of users are now being evaluated for commercial purpose. Just go to eBay and buy some things. You will get a lot of commercials about that after that. Well, each wave of new computational technology has tended to lead a new kind of system, new ways of creating applications, new forms of digital data sets. Computing is constantly reinventing itself through optimization and technological revolution, with the new system replacing the older system. There is no example of such an explosion of data, knowledge, communication, and global interconnection ever in mankind. The term artificial intelligence is referring to use of computer systems to perform tasks that normally require human understanding. Cloud computing and machine learning algorithms have fueled the jump in artificial intelligence, helping applications interpret an ever-growing mountain of data. The tools can run self-learning algorithms and suggest ways of better solution. It is not only science fiction anymore. Computers already started a life of their own in a metaphorical sense. Many questions about how we can design the future arise. Main questions deal with our relationship to nature, our handling of the complexity and diversity of nature itself, and the technological influences on the society. Regarding Humboldt's idea of nature, we asked exactly nearly the same questions as 200 years before. The only difference is maybe the more technical background today, because obviously Humboldt had no laptop and no internet available. Again, how is a smarter world looks like, and who can predict the future? Do we need a digital humanity to design our own future in a smarter world? Well, have a look to the current challenges, and I start with the environmental protection and the challenges behind that. So the population on planet Earth is increasing to 7.6 billion individuals, more than ever in history. The demand of intelligent and sustainable environment protection is increasing because of today's fast-growing population and emergence of supercities. Population growth has had negative impacts on the quality of environment, for example, climate, soil, water, ecosystems, and more land is used for agriculture or living purpose, the more the environment is changing dramatically. If the population of humans grows in certain cities or rural areas, more resources must be used to maintain the well-being of the population. With the increasing pressure, many habitats are being destroyed. Humans are using up more and more resources. By defining sustainable development, the Brundtland report, published in 1987, opened the way to questions related to quality of life without compromising the ability of future generations. It stated the requirements for sustainable development to ensure quality of life, by the way, no matter on which side of the Atlantic. But urban settlement leads to megacities. This is a trend, and the sustainable development and globalization are likely to have a major effect on the development to offer high quality of life and to reduce the environmental impact. The idea of smart city was born. The intention behind is to bring together technology, government, society. But the environmental problems are not the only challenges. There are still warning voices on dangers of the artificial intelligence. Remember the term smart. Warning voices and advanced computer technology which possibly lead to autonomous computers. So let's talk about the ongoing technical trends. The world has become excited about the big data and advanced analytics, not just because the data are big, but also because of the potential for impact is big. Obviously, we need intelligent algorithms to analyze and concatenate the huge amount of collected big data, because just collecting or having access to larger data sets will not produce any result. And of course, we need an evaluation by computers. So computers are one of the most important things during our time. But on the basis of big data, intelligent and automated algorithms, more or less, results of machine learning processes becomes decision makers with control of all related processes. For instance, smart management could have tremendous positive impacts on environment, not only by using sensors of monitoring the airborne quality, radiation, water quality, and so on, but also process engineering, product management, or traffic management. We could call that Industry 4.0 or Society 4.0 or whatever. Our hope is that the environmental impacts can be reduced in a smarter world. There is a tendency to transfer our failure to protect the nature to the responsibility of computers, because we ourselves have been failing for decades, despite the recognized need to change something positive. Well, again, the warning voices. Do not forget the warning voices on dangers of advanced computers. We call it, in the term, artificial intelligence. But back to Humboldt. First, let me give you an overview about statements and citations about this dangers of artificial intelligence. So the substitution of humans by supercomputers is unlikely for Messerly 2014 because humans are not digital, obviously, and biological computers, and they are unlikely to be replaced by computers anytime soon. And another author, Schlitter, stated in 2015 that it would be naive and dangerous to ignore a technological development which is aiming to humans' life conditions, smarter world, and which will be autonomous in the nearest future. Stephen Hawking, sad news, unfortunately he passed away the last days, expressed in his belief in a BBC interview that there is no deep difference between what can be achieved by a biological brain and what can be achieved by a computer. It therefore follows that computers can, in theory, emulate human intelligence and exceed it. That could help us, but could also bring us all sorts of things we didn't like. Autonomous weapons, economic disruption, and machines that developed a will of their own in conflict with humanity. Other authors like Helbing, 2017, ask questions if we have to expect a smart nation or planet when we will suffer smartphones, smart homes, smart factories, and smart cities. And what does it mean when artificial intelligence will not be programmed by humans line by line, but automatically by the computer itself, with continuous progress of optimization? Their study led to the prognosis that within the coming 40 years, computers will exceed human capabilities, with possible consequences to the society. Stephen Hawking again pointed out that the computer and the artificial intelligence will be either the best or the worst thing ever happened to humanity. We do not yet know which. Well, what can we conclude from the historical view of Humboldt? Regarding these challenges and threats, it is important to consider what Humboldt described about the nature world and what we conclude from his holistical vision of the nature. Our relationship to the world is defined by intellectuals, and we are shaped by the past. For example, Nicolaus Copernicus discovered astronomical data and observed the universe. Isaac Newton found laws of nature, and Charles Darwin proved that all species descend from common ancestors. And what is the concept of nature itself? Well, Humboldt described his view, and he gave us an idea of nature. He pointed out that the natural world can be explored and discovered not only by facts and processes, but also on an emotional basis. So a great part of our response to the natural world should be based on the senses and emotions. When other scientists searched for universal laws, Alexander von Humboldt wanted to excite a love of nature. He wrote that nature had to be experienced through feelings, not only by facts. On the other hand, artificial intelligence today is dealing with big data and algorithms to make decisions by data analysis and pattern recognition. Everything is happening on a logical level. But there is no convincing concept visible for an artificial emotion. Whatever we will develop, even systems with decision algorithms and self-determination, so we shouldn't forget Humboldt's idea of nature, including emotions and feelings. There are several technical solutions available, which we subsume under the term SMART. Smarter world, smarter home, smarter society, smarter cities, smarter nations, I don't know, whatever. They will open the window to a smarter world in the next few decades, but they should do that. Is it the reality? Would main issues of computer-controlled life be the sustainability or pursuit of a better quality on our planet? Our hope is to improve the quality of our life and the life of the next generations by extensive use of smart systems to create a smarter world. But could we call it technical colonialism? When a network of supercomputers will create a smarter world? One of the threats lies in the intelligent algorithms to analyze and link huge amounts of data, such as those produced, for example, by smart cities or smart production. Just one example, artificial intelligence will make decisions to protect the environment. This is a fact. Is the growing population then a factor of environmental damage? And what would be the computer's conclusion? Well, it's a dangerous question indeed. Okay, so another thing is, are we still in control of the proceedings? the more machine learning is implemented, the less transparent are the decision rules. So the complexity of the algorithm increases its opacity. The more advanced the self-learning process of artificial intelligence are, the less their users can control the learning outcomes generated by those computers. And finally, privacy, human dignity, and other principles of fairness, justice will yield to the new arbitrariness because those underlying algorithms cannot operate completely without errors. Is this the main threat for us and the next generations of the planet Earth? Well, the promise of the smarter world is served us with a dash of safety promise and environmental awareness because we save energy in smart grids, we drive risk-free with smart cars, maybe in the future, and live well protected in smart cities. Realize that most of the statements sound like commercials, which are promising everything and to everybody. Is this the reality? Humboldt gave us an idea of nature itself, describing processes and interactions between animated and inanimated nature. He was the nexus of science at this time, communicating, supporting scientists all over the world for better understanding of nature. But his vision of nature included not only facts, but also emotions. Please keep in mind. In the sense of Humboldt, it would be similar to technical colonialism if high-developed computer intelligence brings us a smarter world with machines which developed of a will of their own in conflict with humanity. We are about to share our responsibility with supercomputers which are tracking and surveying all of our digital activities now and in the future. It would be good to become aware of human thinking and to commit technology to the human principles. Well, the discipline of digital humanities can play an important role in the future as an interface, so to say, between humans and machines, and to answer important questions for our notion of being humans. And questions additionally arise for our concepts of civil society and democracy. Is the internet promoting democracy or supporting tendencies of nationalism? Who will know? Under the name of partnership on artificial intelligence, leading technology companies such as Google, Amazon, Facebook have now bundled resources to explore how society and individuals can benefit from artificial intelligence. The main goals of this project are support research on artificial intelligence technologies and address such areas as fairness and transparency, security and privacy, values and ethics, trustworthiness, reliability, safety, and robustness of the technology. Well done. Everybody could agree with that, but mockingly asked, what else? And additionally, cui bono? Who has an advantage? The monopolistic internet companies or the society? Well, you see a lot of questions, and the main question remains, who is responsible for the implementation and the observance of ethical and democratic principles? You may know that Google is a minimum taxpayer, let me say minimum taxpayer in Europe, but it's a huge company, and so the question arises about the ethical and democratic principles. At the very start of my presentation, I alerted you that I will ask a lot of questions, but now we are at the point that I want to make some suggestions about and a short conclusion about. Well, a replacement of humans by computers is unlikely because human thinking is characterized by cognitive heuristics and emotions, following Humboldt's ideas, which cannot simply be implemented in machines operating with algorithms, procedural data processing, or artificial intelligence. In the age of digitalization and big data, Autonomous computers have already developed a life of their own in a metaphorical sense in order to make the world smarter. This is another word for more controllable by computers. We need indeed smart solutions for environmental protection and for higher quality of our planet Earth. These developments are not a threat to humanity unless they are controlled by the principle of ethics, democracy, transparency, security, and privacy. And finally, thank you for your attention.